Hello guys, Svetlana Shlapak, the founder of UKVisaSuccess.com is here. Today I'm going to talk about the Innovator Visa. Innovator Visa is the son or the daughter, if you wish, of the Tier 1 entrepreneur, which was introduced at the beginning of 2019. I'm going to concentrate on the eligibility requirements, and also I'm going to explain where you can get further information if you would like to dig deeper and if you'd like to understand more about this particular work-related UK immigration route. So let us begin. Guys, and so that you know, this video is a part of the UK's new points-based immigration system video series. If when watching a video or reading an article which I publish on a weekly basis at UKVisaSuccess.com, you are at the point where you would like to know more information, you're very welcome to go to UKVisaSuccess.com/new PBS, where PBS stands for points-based system, and request this information. It is completely free and the information will be with you within the next 60 seconds. In this video series, we'll cover a number of topics. We'll talk about work, study and visits related immigration routes, which are all part of the UK's new points-based immigration system. We'll talk about skilled workers, health and care sector visas, as well as Appendix W categories, including a global talent, startup and innovator categories. We'll also cover the UK's immigration routes, which were created for students. We'll talk about the existing Tier 4 route and the newly created, or rather the old and forgotten graduate route, which will allow students to remain in the UK after their studies in order to work in the UK. And finally, in this video series, we'll have a number of videos dedicated to other routes which are not part of the new UK's points-based immigration system, but do allow migrants to work in the UK. The Innovator UK immigration route was born in March 2019. The Innovator route is the elder brother of the Startup Visa and, as I said before, the son or the daughter of Tier 1 entrepreneur. Being part of the family, the UK immigration route Innovator has a lot of similarities with now closed to new Applicants Tier 1 entrepreneur route, and it also has a general resemblance with the Startup Visa. However, it is also very unique and it is a very different UK immigration route. Unlike the Startup UK immigration route, this category is for more experienced business people who would like to establish a business in the UK. It is more challenging to get this type of visa. However, with challenges come more rewards. For example, it offers the unlimited number of visa extensions, and also it allows entrepreneurs to settle in the UK only after 3 years, provided, of course, they meet all the necessary requirements. To get this type of visa, you need to get 3 key elements of the application right: the suitability requirements, the eligibility requirements, and the procedure. The suitability requirements is always the same for the majority of UK visa applications, and it always depends on where you are geographically. If you're making your application from outside the UK, then you'll need to meet the requirements of paragraph 320 of the immigration rules, or in other words, you will need to meet the mandatory and the discretionary grounds for refusal for entry clearance applications for those who make the application from outside. If you're already in the UK, you are either switching to this immigration category from another UK immigration category, or you are extending your stay in the same immigration category. So you've applied before as innovator and you would like to extend your stay. In these circumstances, you will need to meet the requirements of paragraph 322, or in other words, you will need to prove that you meet the suitability requirements, the discretionary and the mandatory suitability requirements for leave to remain applications. If you are already in the UK and you are switching to this immigration category, this means you need to first of all ensure that you can actually switch, and I'll explain the switching rules in just a moment. Secondly, you need to also ensure that throughout your entire stay in the UK, you always had a visa. So in other words, you did not become an overstay at any point when you lived here in the UK. However, if your overstaying period was for less than 14 days, the Home Office may consider disregarding it, provided you submit strong documents confirming that you overstayed for the reasons which were beyond your control. For example, you were severely ill and you were at the hospital at that time, or your sponsor, the Tier 2 or Tier 4 sponsor, failed to submit your application on time. The second key element of the successful Innovator application is meeting the eligibility requirements. And as you can see, there are 7 eligibility requirements. First of all, we need to remember about the age. Only the applicants who are over the age of 18 can apply. Secondly, we need to understand the rules about switching. Switching is the legal term which defines the process of changing your immigration category. For example, if you arrived in the UK as a Tier 4 general student and then you found a job and you change your visa to Tier 2, then it means that you switched in legal terms. However, if you came here as a Tier 4 student and you extended your stay and you wanted to remain here for a longer period of time in order to do a degree or PhD, then this means that you are not switching, you are just extending your stay. So here you need to understand that if you would like to switch to this particular category, you will only be allowed to do so if you remain in the UK with these types of visas as a startup entrepreneur, a Tier 1 graduate entrepreneur, which is already closed to the new applicants. However, chances are that you may still have this type of visa, and also Tier 1 entrepreneur, the same rules apply. It was closed in March 2019. And also if you're here as a Tier 2 and as a visitor, that is provided you have been undertaking permitted activities as a prospective entrepreneur. The next eligibility requirement is the credibility assessments. In order for you to pass these credibility assessments, you will need to understand that it involves generally 3 factors. The first one is that you genuinely intend to undertake and are capable of undertaking any work or business activity which you stated you would when you were applying. Secondly, you will only work in your business, you will not be employed anywhere else, and also that you will have enough money, which is 50,000, these are called investment funds, to spend on your business. And when assessing your credibility, they will take into consideration the following factors. First of all, they will have a look at all the documents which you will be submitting with your application. They will also consider your previous educational work and immigration history. They will have a look at the third-party government departments such as DWP, police, higher educational institutions, and so on and so forth. And of course, they will consider anything which you will be submitting together with the application. The next eligibility requirements is the English language requirements. It is very easy to meet it if you are from the majority English speaking country, because in these circumstances all you need is just to provide your passport. And also if you have a UK bachelor degree or above, master's degree or PhD, then you have met these English language requirements automatically. Or if you have a degree which was granted from outside the UK, however it was taught or researched in English language. In these circumstances, you will need to have a confirmation from NAREC UK. And also, if you satisfied your English language requirements with your previous grant, and this applies to those who have a startup, innovator, Tier 1, general, Tier 2 Tier 1 post-study work, Tier 1 entrepreneur, Tier 2 Minister of Religion, Tier 4 general, provided this was granted before 21st of April 2011. And with this application, in this case, you will need to also submit a confirmation of acceptance for studies confirming the same. If you do not meet the English language requirements in any of these ways, then you will need to pass the English language test. It has to be at the Home Office recognized English language test centers, and it has to be at the level of B2. The next one, the maintenance funds. You will need to prove that you have at least £945 for yourself, and if any dependents apply, you will need to show that you have this amount, additional amount for them as well. And this amount will need to be held in a personal bank or building society account. And if it is in foreign currency, then the Home Office will use the oanda.com website, which is OANDA, oanda.com website, in order to make the currency transfer, and it will be valid at the date when the application is considered. And also you will need to make sure that the money is not from the financial institution listed in Appendix P, which is the so-called Home Office blacklisted financial institution list. It's not acceptable if it is in cash, shares, bonds, credit cards, overdraft facilities, or pension funds. And of course, you will need to prove that this amount was not obtained illegally. While you were in the UK, for example, you didn't have a right to work, but you did, and that's why you have this money. So this will not be acceptable. And also, you will need to show that this amount was held in your bank account for 90 consecutive days, ending no earlier than 31 days before the date of the application. Okay, the next eligibility requirement is endorsements, and there are three factors to consider. The first one is the endorsee, the endorsements body, the endorsing organization. The endorsing organizations have responsibilities which are very similar to the responsibilities of Tier 2, Tier 4 and Tier 5 sponsors. The Home Office will decide which organization will carry the endorsee flag, and if they feel that the organization has enough experience of working with the entrepreneurs, then they will put them on this special endorsing list, and you will need to hold an endorsement letter only from the endorsing body which is on this list. In case you're curious as to who is on this list, you're very welcome to visit this website, ukvisasuccess.com/innovator, and request this information, and this will be with you within the next 60 seconds. It's completely free. The next one is the endorsement letter. For it to be acceptable, it has to be in the acceptable form, but strictly speaking, this is not your responsibility to ensure that the endorsement letter is in the correct form, because this is the responsibility of the endorsee, of the endorsing body. However, if it is not in the acceptable form, it is your application, it is your visa application which will be refused. So you need to make sure that it is in the correct form. How can you do this? By ensuring that it has the name of the endorsing body, the reference number, it is no more than 3 months old, it has the name, date of birth, and nationality and passport number of the applicant. In other words, it has your name and date of birth and nationality and passport number. And also, they will need to specifically confirm in the endorsement letter that there are no previously established businesses in the UK, unless the last grant was in the startup category, or Tier 1 graduate entrepreneur, or Tier 4 those who are on the doctorate extension scheme. Also, there should be a short description of the business venture and the main products and services which will be distributed through the business, and there should be a confirmation that it means the endorsement criteria, which I will explain in just a moment. And finally, it should have the name and the contact details of the person who will be verifying that this is a genuine endorsement letter. And finally, with regards to the endorsement criteria, you need to remember that there are actually three. First of all, you will need to prove that your business idea, you have a business idea which is innovative, or in other words, that you have an execution plan. So you'll need to have a genuine original business plan that meets a new or existing market needs and or creates a competitive advantage. Secondly, you'll need to prove that this is going to be viable. In other words, you'll need to submit it together with the business plan, which is realistic and achievable based on your available resources. And here you also need to prove that you either already have or are actually actively developing the necessary skills, knowledge and experience and market awareness to run the business successfully. And finally, it's all about the scalability, about your ability to create new jobs. You'll need to prove to the Home Office that you have enough resources in order to create new jobs at some point in the near future. Also, you need to bear in mind that since you can only work in your business, you will need to prove to the Home Office that you will be in the position to support yourself and your loved ones, your dependents, your spouse and children under the age of 18 who are not married, and that you will be supporting them and you will meet your and their costs of living. Can there be other members in the team? The answer is absolutely. However, you'll need to also understand that you need to prove that you're going to be one of the key members of the team. If they are applying and if they are also visa nationals and they're applying for the same type of visa, you will need to prove that there will be further 50,000 available to them. So you cannot share the funds, but you can be part of the team. And the final requirement, number 7, eligibility requirements we're talking about, and this is about investments. So investment rules differ depending on the nature of your business. If your endorsement application is for the new business, then you will need to show that you either have £50,000 available, which is in your bank account, or that you have already invested this amount in your new business. Finally, the procedure, it's very simple and straightforward. There are, as always, only 5 steps. You will need to complete the correct online form. You will need to pay the fee, and actually they will not accept your online form unless you pay the correct fee. And you will need to provide them with a copy of your passport and the supporting documents, and you should be ready to provide the original if they would like to see the original. You will need to pay the immigration health surcharge, which is due to be increased from October, and of course you will need to enroll your biometrics. If your application is successful, you will be allowed to settle only after 3 years, provided you meet all the necessary requirements, and your visa will be granted for 3 years. And as always, there will be conditions attached to your immigration stay. First of all, you will not be allowed to work as a doctor or a dentist in training, and also you cannot work as a professional sports person, and this includes sports coaches. And as I said before, you cannot take any other employment apart from actually working on your business. And just to clarify here, working for your business does not include any work pursuant to a contract of service or apprenticeship, whether express or imply, and whether oral or written, with any other business. It means successful applicants cannot effectively fill a position or hire their labor to another business, even if the work is undertaken through contracting with your own business and through a recruiting or employment agency. You cannot claim benefits, so there is no recourse to public funds, which is always attached to the majority of visas. And you will need to register with the police if your country is on a special list, but you will be informed of this, so they will let you know whether or not you need to register with the police. And finally, with some minor exceptions, you will be allowed to study in the UK. And this is it, my friends. This was the Innovator UK immigration route. This is all we wanted to discuss today. I would like to invite you to visit this page, ukvisasuccess.com/more, where you'll find plenty of free immigration resources explaining various immigration rules. And I also invite you to subscribe to a new, very, very succinct and short newsletter where I'll be updating you on various changes in the world of UK immigration law. And also I will be sending various exclusive invitations to the members of ukvisasuccess.com community. You'll only be able to get these offers if you are subscribed to this newsletter. Have an amazing week, guys.